Yeah, this is why they're the ones who are usually telling you things like, smoking's really bad for you.
Yeah.
And you really should be eating a salad like every day. And it's not because they're criticizing you. They're really not. It may feel like it is, but that's not what they're doing. What they're doing is they're seeing the logical conclusion of smoking, the logical conclusion of not eating fresh greens on a regular basis. And they're
Right.
concerned with your health.
That's right.
That's exactly what that is. And they're usually the ones who have extensive knowledge of like herbs and supplements and cooking for health.
Hmm.
They're amazing. They're like walking encyclopedias often when they're
Yeah.
interested in these things. Okay, so now on to the cast. And there's a little bit of controversy here, as there is in every field of knowledge. And astrology is no different. And that is that Brihaparashara considers the earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, as the Vaishya signs. Now, Vaishya, Vaishya means, you want to explain Vaishya?
Sure. Vaishya is the merchant class.
Right.
They are the business people. They're interested in the exchange of goods and money, commerce. All of that is Vaishya. That's their orientation. That's the domain of life they're most involved in.
But they're also, at the same time, too, they like to refine things.
Right.
So artists are Vaishyas, doctors can be Vaishyas. It's
Artisans.
artisans, right? They're the ones who practical art, right? They're
Right.
the ones who make the dishes that you eat off every day, beautiful pieces of art.
That's right.
And it's their attitude that I really like, and that is they're not clock watchers. They're not like, okay, when can I leave here and when will I be done with my job? Their attitude is, I'm going to do this until it's done not only right, but extremely well. They're always trying to refine further and further. So to increase their craft. So if they're an artist, for instance, they keep working on their skills. They keep refining and improving. That's what it is, improving their skills.
Yeah, because anybody who's the Vaishyas are aware of the value of exchange and that people will pay them more for a higher quality product. So they understand that they're interested in maximizing the value of what it is they create because they know that it's going to be a better exchange for everybody.
Exactly.
So it's that kind of mentality.
Yeah, so that's what we mean by caste. It's a temperament thing.
It's temperament, right? Don't think about social structures.
Yeah, and Virgo is being that it's a Thomas sign. That desire gains in order to provide for the possibilities of a difficult future. So they're the ones who save their pennies for a rainy day and advise you to do the same thing. Work on keep your health good now so that you don't have to live through a sick old age.
Hmm.
And they design, yeah. So they strive to do a good job because they're well aware that a bad job has negative consequences for them and everyone else, like just exactly like you just said.
That's right.
Now the signs are related to the 12 houses of the horoscope, the birth chart. The 10th, the 2nd, and the 6th houses are Arthra houses, or material gain and security houses, which correlate to the goal of Vaishyas and to the earth signs. And Virgo is the natural ruler of the 6th house of the healing arts, digestion, and overcoming the ills of life. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think that's great. Artha is one of the four, aims of life in Vedic philosophy, and it's the one that has to do with being materially secure. So I think if you reflect on everything we've said so far, that just fits like another piece of the puzzle, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, because that's where we are. We're on Earth.
We're on Earth, as the Virgo would say.
Which for some reason makes me think of that Madonna song, Material Girl. I'm a material
Oh,
girl in a
right.
material world.
That's right.
And
There we
guess what
go.
Madonna is? She's a Virgo.
Everyone go listen to that song now.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're on to day and night strong. And, as I said in Leo and all the other signs, Some signs are strong and vigorous during the day, and some are strong and vigorous at night. And Virgo is a day-strong sign. And day-strong signs are energized by bringing things into concrete realization, and they're full of know-how. So people who have the sun, moon, ascendant in the sign of Virgo are highly skilled and are able to manage the details of manifesting anything in the real world. So this is one of the reasons why I would want a Virgo as an assistant, someone who can,
Right.
Help my clumsy Aries way, is always coming up with ideas, but have a much harder time actually manifesting even half of them, if
You'd
that.
be perfect if you had a Virgo assistant. That would be the perfect balance.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah,
It would be
totally.
great.
I can see that.
Right, and then there's the Pisces up Makaraka moon. Guess what planet is debilitated in the sign of Pisces? Mercury, right? The one that's really good with details and managing the concrete plane.
It has nothing to do in the Pisces world. Mercury
Right.
has no function in the Pisces world.
It's pretty funny. Okay, so, right, you know what? I should have given you that one. Do you want to try the front rising and back rising?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay.
So Virgo is a front rising sign because it rises over the eastern horizon front first. So this means that Virgo, it's similar to the day strong quality. They have a lot of skills, a lot of know-how, and they want to use their know-how to bring things into concrete realization. They're here to manifest things with their skills. They have resources, their knowledge, they're good with their hands, perhaps, all kinds of things. They're going to use those skills. They're going to make something. So they have a lot of skills and abilities. That's what it means to be front rising. They're here to manifest on the basis of their talents.
Yeah, and Virgo in particular has the skills and abilities with which to fulfill its duties, because Virgo is kind of a dutiful sign too.
It is.
It has strong ideas about what is their duty. And
that's why I think, a kind of a summary quality of Virgo is competency.
Yeah.
Virgos are just very competent people.
My sister is a Virgo. She's a Virgo sun, Mercury, Rahu, Venus. She's got a lot of Virgo.
A lot of Virgo. No, yeah. I have a friend also who has tons of planets in Virgo.
Oh, do you?
Yep.
Yeah. And she's the person I love to talk to her about anything that has to do with, like, if I want to fix something up in my house, I want to talk to her. If I want to talk about a health thing, she's the one I want to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
She just always knows a bunch of stuff about these things. So anyway, so now on to the feet. So signs are either 2-footed, 4-footed, many-footed, or without feet and moving in water. And the 2-footed signs are adaptable, but not particularly strong. Their strength is in their ability to adapt. And Virgo is represented by a human girl before puberty. And let me see, the 2-footed signs are particularly interested in the first house matters of thinking and following one's true nature and path. And they're least interested in the 7th house matters of maintaining partnerships, which is why Venus is considered to be weak in the sign of Virgo. When I think of Virgo, I think of the girl I think of myself before I went into puberty. The way we are at that age, when we're really curious about things, we have many hobbies, many interests, we're always exploring, we like spending time outside and, climbing trees. And I remember doing things like picking flowers and using their petals and trying to create perfume and stuff like that, just because when you're a kid, that's what you do. You just play outside and you end up trying out things like that, building forts, all that kind of stuff. It makes me think of Virgo, like the earth girl, the one who just you go to her place and she's got plants everywhere. She has all kinds of teas and herbs, and she's got a little garden, and she knows a lot of things about the animals and the wildlife. She's very earth-oriented. Like even though she's a girl, as a like a grown-up woman who's a Virgo, she's kind of like an Earth mother. Have you
Yeah,
noticed Virgos? Even the male Virgos are like that. Their houses are neat and clean and organized, and they've got plants, and if you eat over there, it's going to be good.
yeah, I think there is like a childlike quality and like an innocence in Virgo people, and I've definitely noticed it with Virgo women, including like Moon in Virgo for women. I've noticed like that even when they're older, they're still very childlike, and even their voices are kind of like soft and like kind of they still sound like little girls a little bit sometimes.
Oh, interesting.
Even though they're mature people, they still have a kind of even a desire for like fantasy and interest in fantasy and those kind of things, like you were saying. But it's earthy, it's not like just not dreaming per se.
Right.
But they have a little bit of that child's imagination, that innocence, which makes them kind of attractive and enamoring. It's like, okay, because that's the refreshing quality for an adult. I think that's part of what Brihad Parasha is trying to get at.
Yeah.
The youthful quality in Virgo that's there,
Yeah. Well, they're during the harvest season, August.
Right.
Right, which leads me to telling you when that is. So Virgo season begins August 24th and continues until September 24th, and that's the harvest season. So often when you see symbols of Virgo, you see like bundles of wheat tied together, which is representative of the harvest season. So they're doing what the dual signs do, and they're ending the summer and beginning the fall. So they're getting us ready to change seasons again. Okay, so now the Lord of Virgo, you want to go with that one?
Sure. Lord of Virgo is Mercury. And honestly, if you consider everything we've said so far, you've actually learned a lot about Mercury. Because Virgo is one of Mercury's signs. So it's going to reflect Mercury's traits, Mercury's energy, okay? That's the only place that Virgo can get its qualities from. So it is subordinate to that. So basically, we've learned a lot about Mercury. Mercury as a ruler of Virgo just shows us that what is Mercury about? Discrimination. Mercury's about intellect. Mercury's about the optimum discernment of things. Mercury's about making life work, making decisions that makes life work, having original solutions to things, having good abilities and skills and being able to use them to a positive effect. All of that. So kind of the competency that's operating through Virgo, that's the Lord. That's Mercury, coming through. So I don't know, do you have something that you want to add to that?
No, I think that you said that extremely well. So I was going to go into then the final thing we talk about, which is the color of Virgo. And it's not really a color. It's more of a quality of a color. It's called scintillating. It's like one of the tiger eye gemstones, where you move it in the light and it shimmers and it looks like it changes. And that's what Virgo corresponds to. So if you were to get a gemstone recommendation, it would be the type of gemstone would correspond to the planet, which would be a Mercury, obviously. No, it doesn't have to be Mercury. It can be any planet in the sign of Virgo. But the color of the gemstone is not really so much about the color as it is about the scintillating quality. So for instance, for Venus in Virgo, the gemstones are star sapphire, beryls, cat eye, and apatite. And these are stones that when you look at them, they have that shimmering quality. It looks like a cat's eye. And so there are many other gemstones that correspond to the sign of Virgo, but it depends on the planet that you're talking about. So I hope that helps to explain what the color of Virgo is.
I would add that, scintillating can also be seen as a kind of iridescent or refractive quality where like the spectrum of colors is available. You can see like a spectrum of colors from the light, from the reflective capacity of the stone. And that kind of, if you think about it, reflects some of the qualities of Virgo and Mercury altogether, like we talked about, Earth has all the doshas in it and so forth. So think about how the color connects in that way too. It has kind of like all colors in it.
Yeah, it kind of does, huh?
In a
Yeah.
subtle way. It's not variegated. That's going to be for another sign. But it does reflect a spectrum. It's a little bit prismatic, you could say. That's how I relate to scintillating.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And or like fabrics, for instance, that have a shimmery quality to it.
Yes, yes,
If you wanted to wear Virgo colors, then you would make sure that the fabric that you're wearing has that kind of iridescence or shimmering
exactly.
quality. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the sign of Virgo. And if you enjoyed this, then please hit like and subscribe so that you can get the next video we're going to be doing on the sign of Libra next month. So until then, thank you for watching. Goodbye.